When we're ready, we'll start with Rob Dawson from Sky Sports News.
Gareth, good to see you. Can you give us an update on Phil Jones? We're told the pickle injury at training has gone back to Manchester United. Is it serious?
Well, we don't know. We didn't feel it was an injury that we could treat and have him ready for the game tomorrow. So we've got to respectfully send him back to the club, and we'll know more once he's had a scan and or an X-ray and see where he's at. But
what happened?
Just a sort of innocuous tackle, basically, and he's caught the bottom of somebody's foot, so possible injury to his toe. But as I say, we'll know more over the next 24, 48 hours, I guess.
Any other injury problems? I saw Raheem Sterling wasn't on the pitch.
Yeah.
Anybody else with a problem?
Well, Raheem's one we need to assess. He obviously had quite a heavy week in terms of load and everything else last week with the game in Monaco and then the game with Liverpool. So I've got to balance what's right for tomorrow and what's right for Sunday as well. So, but we'll keep monitoring that. We're in a position where we haven't been able to get all the players on the field until today, and then you've got to see how they come through training and who's ready for tomorrow. So it's a little bit later than we'd like, but that's the nature of the game tomorrow.
With the man on your left suspended for the Lithuania game and Phil Jones going back, that leaves you a little bit light at centre-back. Have you thought about making any more call-ups?
No, not at the moment. I mean, we've still got Chris Smalling, John Stones, Michael Keane in the squad. We've got Eric Dyer as well that could play at centre-back, although we're also missing some players in midfield. So, but we'll have a look at things after the game with Germany. Whatever we'd done, we wouldn't have got somebody out for the game tomorrow. So we'll see how tomorrow's game goes and assess it from there.
One of the stories that's dominated our news agenda today has been Jamie Vardy coming out and saying he had some death threats, worried about the safety of his wife and family as well. Have you had a chat to him about it? Are you happy with where his mindset is?
Yeah, he's, I can understand why he wanted to discuss it, and it's obviously a very serious subject. We're very supportive of him, and I know the club are, and the authorities that are well aware of what's going on now as well. So that's the most important thing. He's no problem with his focus on the games, as we've seen with his performances over the last few weeks, really.
Have you made a decision about your captain? Is it the chap just made?
Yep. Gary's going to captain the side, and I think he's in very good form. He's one of the players in the squad that knows what's needed to win. He's won pretty much every trophy there is to win in football. This season especially, I think, growing in stature in the way that he's playing, in confidence, the way he's using the ball, showing real composure in his play. And so, his experience, I think, sometimes is overlooked in terms of what he brings to the squad, because he goes quietly about his job and gets on with it, and you never read anything about him other than what he's done. Usually scored a goal or kept another clean sheet. It's great habits to have. So, it's great for him to be able to captain the side tomorrow.
Gary, if we can ask you about that, you've captained the side before, you captained the side here in Germany before, but it's still a huge honour, isn't it, to captain the side against the world champions?
Yeah, of course, it's a huge honour. It's a huge honour every single time you play for England, never mind captaining your country, so delighted. And like I said, yeah, it was a great evening the last time. I managed to captain the country now 3 or 4 times, and in Germany as well, so that was a great evening for us that night.
It was a great evening, and it led to some huge enthusiasm and expectation, I think, as there always is with this England squad, which was ultimately a disappointing end in the Euros. If you can get a result here against the world champions, could that be a key momentum giver for you and a key result for you? Is it still that important?
It's definitely important, yeah. I think momentum's a key word. I think when we bring in ideas, or the manager and the staff are bringing new ideas to us, it's important that we take these on board, and it's always nice to get results because it proves that everything's going right, everything's working, and especially against huge opposition. like you said, make no mistake about the opposition tomorrow night. It's going to be fantastic for us to test ourselves against these players. So one that we should be looking forward to, and like the rest of the team, they're looking forward to competing against top European players, which is going to be a special occasion.
What have you made of Gareth as the new manager? It was great to see him on the training ground at St George's Park this morning, joining in. He seems very close with you. He's got a slightly different style, hasn't he?
What playing wise now? No, it's fantastic for us. Yeah, the game's come around really fast. To be honest, we obviously met up, and quite a few of the players played on Sunday. So we had kind of cool down and then a day on the pitch today. So it was fantastic, really, for us all to get outside. And get stuck into tactically, how we want to approach the game tomorrow night. And like I said earlier, it's about us taking on board the manager's ideas, the manager's experiences. I think he brings that as a player. He knows what it's like to play for England. He knows what it's like to have the pressures and to be in our shoes and go to tournaments. It's fantastic for me and for the young boys.
Yeah, I think he gave you a speech yesterday that summed up his experiences of being an England player and all of his career. How impressive was that speech that he gave to you? It was quite motivational by the sounds of what some of the other players said.
It was definitely, and I think there was a lot taken out of that for the squad, for the players. Me personally prefer to keep it in house and what went on and the experiences, but as a group, it was a positive one, and I know for sure we come out of that, thinking. We went to bed that night thinking of things that happened and things we've spoken about in the meeting. So I thought it was a fantastic meeting.
Quite a season for you personally, for club and for country. I wonder how much that's done for your confidence, what Antonio Conte has done for your confidence with the team at 10 points clear at the top of the Premier League.
Yeah, it's been a great season for me personally. I think everyone's aware of what happened last season. So to turn that around is fantastic. I've enjoyed the new way of playing. I've enjoyed the new system we've been playing in. We've adapted well as a squad, individually, and yeah, just delighted. I think I'm growing as a player. Even at 31, I'm learning a lot. I'm still learning a lot. I feel confident, and I feel like character-wise, I'm in a good place at the minute. So I enjoy my football, and I think that's when you play your best football.
Do you feel you're on the verge of another second Premier League title for yourself? It's a big gap, that 10-point gap.
I don't want to speak about that, to be honest. I think we've put ourselves in a fantastic position. That's all I would say. We realise next month for us is going to be huge, but we're in a fantastic position. But that hat's off at the minute. I'm on England duty now. I'm fully focused on tomorrow night. I'm fully focused on what we're trying to do, and like I said, I'm looking forward to this game.
Gareth, a lot of the players have talked up what you said to them yesterday. They found it really, really motivational. Without giving too much away about what you said, Gary's made it clear he wants to keep it private. What were you trying to achieve by that? It was your vision going forward from here, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the first time I've had the opportunity to work with the team with the knowledge that there's a longer term plan. So I think it was important for the players to have an understanding what drives me, the type of standards that I think we have to set, what's possible, but also the reality of where we are, not just this group of players, but as a country over the last few years. And so we have to change the way we do things. We have to change the way we think. We have to change the way we work, because we've not had the success that our opponents have had over such a consistent period of time. So in that respect, they're a great model for us to look at. We're not looking to copy anybody, but you've got to respect the way that they have continually reached semi-finals, finals, won things, and that's the mentality we've got to have.
Wayne Rooney wasn't there to hear it, because he's back having some training with Manchester United, but Jermaine Defoe made it very clear to us. He thinks if he's going to be in the World Cup squad in 2018, he's going to have to be playing regularly in the Premier League. With Wayne Rooney only starting so few games, I think he's played 8 games for Mourinho since last June. Is that going to be a problem for you going forward? Is it difficult to select him if he's not playing a lot for Manchester United?
I think I've talked generally about the desire, whether it's young players in our system or senior players in our system. The desire is to see English players playing regularly in the biggest possible matches, and the more players that you have available to select that are playing in, games that matter, games that people that are pushing for the title, games that cup semi-finals, cup finals, latter stage Champions League, latter stage Europa League, then they're the games you want your players involved in, because then the level and the step towards big international matches is minimal. So that's our desire across the board, and I think that will come over a period of time. That's starting to come. You look at the top teams now, there's more and more English players starting to filter into those after a bit of a fallow period. I think looking at the young players coming through our system now, they're good enough. They just need opportunity.
Pass the microphone to Rory Dollard.
Gareth, does England Germany always stand alone as a special occasion that sort of deserves its own pedestal, or is it in the structure of the week? Is it sort of prep for Lithuania?
Well, I think it's a game that I want to come out having learned a lot about the players and about us as a group, and it's the beginning of a longer term plan as well. So we have to aim for short term wins. How do we win the game tomorrow? How do we perform at our very best tomorrow? How do we prepare for the qualifier, which is critical for us on Sunday? And then what's the plan for qualification, and what's the plan beyond that for Russia? So you've got to have short, medium and long term goals in the way that you work, and we might have to sacrifice some of the shorter term things. Like yesterday, we wanted to talk about what's the long term vision rather than spend a bit longer on Germany, but I felt that was important because we can't just focus from game to game. We've got to be thinking longer term. I think if we're going to have success, that's the reason that I've been appointed, is because there's continuity from the under-21s. It joins the system up, and so we have to make decisions that reflect that.
And Germany without Neuer, Ozil, Gomez and Draxler, but still, when you look down the squad list, you're still going to be, I guess, facing a strong team. Yeah,
absolutely, and I'm sure they'll look at our squad list with the players that we're missing, and look at the players that are playing. And I know that across Europe, when I was working with UEFA last summer as a technical observer, a lot of the technical directors admire a lot of our players. So we've got to have the belief in our own players. We respect the opponent, of course we do, but our job's to find a way to beat them.
Gabriel Clark?
Yeah, hi Gareth. You say you need to change the way we do things, you need to change the way we work. Can you give us a little bit more behind that statement, because it's quite a big one?
Well, I think there's opportunities to affect things tactically. There's opportunities to affect things in terms of our physical preparation, the style of our play, and the mentality that we bring. And if we want to be a team that is challenging these top teams in the world, we're ranked 14th in the world at the moment. So we can't keep turning around and saying, "Oh, if only we'd just done a little bit better in this one game." I think we've got to look at a bigger picture here and a bigger trend of performances. And I'm not sure we've always looked at ourselves in the mirror as closely as that. It's not comfortable for someone like myself to look in the mirror. But I think that's what we have to do as a football nation. We've got to we've got to seriously say, okay, what is needed to improve? And we can start from in terms of the way we will work. What I've said to every department in our organisation is, if you had a blank canvas and you could do anything you wanted in terms of the physical preparation, what would it look like? Because I want new ideas brought in. I want new ways of thinking. We can learn from. We've had success in every other sport in our country, and we're almost a missing piece in that. So that's a great driver for us. But also we know it's probably the hardest one to succeed in. And if we do succeed, it will be the one that has the most impact on our country and on the people.
Has there been a degree of complacency, do you think, within the top level, the elite squad players? Because when you say things like that, it suggests that maybe as a whole, and you said you wanted to see more pressure from underneath the under-21s, for instance, it suggests maybe that those who've been at the elite level have been perhaps, they've had it perhaps a little too easy and have been a bit too insular with their thinking.
I'm not sure about that. I've not worked with the squad directly before, and so I'm coming with no inhibitions of the past and no fear of what might go wrong or anything else. I'm looking at what's possible. How do we learn from successes elsewhere? And there's consistencies. When you see successful sports teams, there's consistent methods of working and consistent habits and consistent behaviours. And we've got to make sure that we're at the forefront of everything and have some continuity to see the plan through, because for sure we won't get there overnight, and there'll be difficult days as well as good days. So I think what our opponents tomorrow have had is a consistent plan. They've had consistency in their thinking from youth level right the way through. Spain were the same in terms of the way they've had success. So we're different. You know, we're an island. We've got to get off the island and learn from elsewhere. But also we've got some great strengths, which if we couple those with some other traits, then we could be more powerful than anybody. But we've a lot of work to do to get to that point.
Just a final one. Gary plays tomorrow. Joe Hart plays tomorrow. Can you tell us any more about the team and who's playing?
No, I think number one, I haven't told the players because we're still assessing one or two. And number two, I know, it would be more helpful for people if I did give you that information, but I don't think it's a route I want to go down at any point. So I never see the point in giving the opponent the advantage of knowing what you're doing.
Okay, last couple, starting one at the back.
Lukas Watchboard 1, question to both of you. Lukas Podolski's last game will be tomorrow. What are your memories of him as a player and as a person?
Yeah, well, firstly, we'd like to congratulate him on a fantastic international career. 130 caps is a phenomenal achievement. He's had, been involved in some incredibly successful teams across that period. We know him a little bit from his time in England, of course, and he seems a good person. Don't know him personally, but we're obviously keen to mark the occasion for him tomorrow. We'll make a small presentation to acknowledge the achievement, and I think anybody that plays that many times for a country that's had the record like Germany have, it tells you something about the quality of the player.
Yeah, I'd like to obviously echo what the manager said. I think he's had a fantastic career, a fantastic international career. I always think it's incredible when you play, 100 times plus for your country, especially a country like Germany, with the players that they can select from, and that means that you're playing regularly for 10 years plus and playing. So it's a credit to himself. I'm sure it'd be a fantastic day for him and his family. So I just want to personally say congratulations. He's been a fantastic player.
Any further questions? Thank you very much.
Sorry to Gav, can I ask you, on Raheem, is he injured or is he just tired?
No, it's not an injury, but he's had heavy load in the 2 games across the week, and so we just gave him an extra day in recovery today, really. And then we'll see what sort of involvement we want him to have tomorrow. So again, I want to get the balance right of what's the right thing for the team for Sunday as well as for tomorrow night.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Thank you.